Nobody expected that Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett would directly call out Elon Musk during that high-profile hearing. The atmosphere in the courtroom grew incredibly tense as she pointed a finger at the tech billionaire, her voice sharp and filled with authority. "Mr. Musk, your actions clearly display a consistent pattern of disregarding established legal precedents," she declared firmly, sending a ripple of shock through everyone in the room. But what happened next? It left the entire judicial panel utterly speechless. Elon Musk didn't flinch. He didn't back down or react in the typical way you might expect from someone in his position. Instead, he simply and calmly opened a folder, one that would turn the entire course of the hearing upside down. What was supposed to be a legal challenge designed to humble the world's richest man? Well, it was about to backfire in the most spectacular way. If you want to witness true brilliance at play, watch this entire video, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more jaw-dropping confrontations that the mainstream media won't dare to show you. The stakes couldn't have been any higher. The case, Federal Communications Commission v. X Corp., had finally made its way to the Supreme Court after months of escalating tension. The central question? Whether Musk's social media platform had violated federal communications guidelines by refusing to implement certain content moderation protocols. Justice Barrett, appointed by former President Trump and well known for her strict constitutional interpretation, had already earned a reputation as one of the sharpest legal minds in the country. Her intelligence was piercing, and her unwavering commitment to legal precision made her a force to be reckoned with. Even those who disagreed with her often respected her expertise. Musk, seated at the respondents' table, wore a simple dark suit and a blue tie, nothing flashy. No billionaire attire, no over-the-top accessories. His legal team flanked him, but unlike most defendants who let their lawyers handle the talking, Musk had insisted on addressing the court directly. It was a move that many legal analysts criticized as dangerously overconfident. The government's case appeared incredibly strong. For months, media outlets had reported how X Corp had blatantly ignored established communication regulations. Legal experts filled news shows, predicting that Musk would face crushing penalties. The FCC had compiled what seemed like an airtight case, presenting documentation showing patterns of noncompliance. "This isn't just about regulations," the Solicitor General argued in his opening statement. "This is about whether private companies, no matter how wealthy or powerful, should be able to ignore the same rules that everyone else must follow." What no one realized, however, was that Musk had been preparing for this moment for nearly a year, immersing himself in constitutional law and legal precedent in a way that would soon stun the entire legal community. Justice Barrett began her questioning with surgical precision, as the courtroom filled with journalists, legal scholars, and spectators lucky enough to secure a seat. This had quickly become one of the most watched Supreme Court cases in decades. "Mr. Musk, your platform has repeatedly ignored formal requests to comply with Section 230 modifications, as outlined in the 2023 Communications Act," Barrett stated, her tone firm but controlled. "Can you explain why you believe your company is somehow exempt from the regulations that every other communications platform is bound to follow?" Musk leaned forward slightly, his response calm and respectful. "With all due respect, Justice Barrett, that's not entirely accurate. We've never claimed exemption from valid laws." Barrett raised an eyebrow. "Your actions suggest otherwise. You've received 17 formal notices." 16. Musk corrected her smoothly. "It was 16 notices, not 17, and we responded to each one with legal reasoning based on established precedent." The justice's expression tightened. "Excuse me, Mr. Musk, there were 16 notices, not 17. And we've reviewed your responses. The record shows that the information provided by the FCC is incomplete." Musk, showing an almost unthinkable level of confidence in such a high-stakes situation, interrupted her again, a rare occurrence in a Supreme Court hearing. Audible gasps rippled through the courtroom. Chief Justice Roberts looked as though he was about to intervene, but Barrett simply raised her hand slightly, signaling she would handle it herself. Her eyes narrowed, her voice cutting through the silence. "Mr. Musk, This court has little patience for technical corrections that fail to address the heart of the question. Your pattern of regulatory noncompliance? It's actually a pattern of constitutional compliance. Musk, unfazed, opened the folder in front of him. And I believe the court would be interested in reviewing evidence that suggests the FCC has deliberately mischaracterized our position. The tension in the room became nearly unbearable. Justice Sotomayor exchanged a glance with Justice Kagan, and Justice Alito leaned forward, visibly interested. Barrett's voice, usually measured and controlled, now carried an edge that rarely emerged from the bench. Mr. Musk, this court has reviewed the briefs extensively. Are you suggesting that the justices have somehow missed critical information? Musk's response was cool and unflinching. Not at all, Justice Barrett. I'm suggesting that key information was deliberately withheld from this court by the petitioners. The Solicitor General was on his feet in an instant. Your Honors, this is an outrageous accusation, completely without foundation. Barrett's voice, now sharp, silenced the chamber. Mr. Musk, those are extremely serious allegations. Without substantial proof, making such claims in front of this court could irreparably damage your credibility. Musk remained completely composed. I understand the gravity of the situation, Justice Barrett, which is precisely why I've brought evidence that shows how the FCC's regulatory demands themselves violate 3 separate Supreme Court precedents, including one where you wrote the majority opinion. Barrett's expression didn't waver, but those who knew her well could detect the smallest hint of surprise. Which opinion would that be? She asked. Net Choice v. Paxton, 2024, Musk replied confidently, where you specifically wrote that government agencies cannot compel private platforms to adopt content policies that effectively function as government speech controls through regulatory proxy. The courtroom fell into complete silence. No one had expected this response. Justice Thomas, who had been quietly observing up until this point, spoke up. Mr. Musk, are you claiming that the FCC directives fall into that category? Yes, Justice Thomas, Musk replied. And I've prepared a detailed analysis demonstrating exactly how. The FCC's lead counsel stood up. Your Honors, Mr. Musk is not a legal expert. His interpretation of Justice Barrett's opinion is fundamentally flawed and self-serving. But Barrett, already reviewing the documents Musk had handed over to the court clerk, remained entirely focused. Her expression remained unreadable, but her intense scrutiny of the material made it clear that she was deeply engaged.